Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been confirmed the VP choice for Kamala Harris will not be Josh Shapiro. Instead, will be Tim Walz. And I do think this is a very good situation for Republicans. I will say, just to preface this, the VP choice, whether it was Shapiro, Walz, someone else, it's really not a huge deal, but the problem with Shapiro is it just would have been very annoying with Pennsylvania, which is the most important state in the 2024 election based on it being a pure swing state and it having the most electoral votes out of all of the pure swing states. Shapiro, potentially, his involvement in the race would have given Harris a slight advantage in Pennsylvania, maybe helping her by about a point, but choosing Tim Walz from Minnesota right now, we would expect it to probably lean to the Democrats. We know when it was Biden versus Trump, it was 50-50, but the first few polls, Harris versus Trump, it was leaning to the left. Certainly, it's not a state that Trump needs to win at all, and it is not one of the most important states. Walz was liked by a lot of the big-time establishment Dems. Nancy Pelosi was pushing for him. They were saying it was coming out. A lot of the top, donors wanted Walz, and he ends up being the pick, even with the weird situation with Josh Shapiro, where he's basically trying to distance himself from Israel to try and be the VP, and it just didn't work out. So Tim Walz, we're finally bringing back the videos of Minneapolis in, what was it, July of 2020, June of 2020. They turned Minneapolis into Austria in 1945, and if you don't know what I mean, I will show it. And that was Tim Walz who oversaw that. And we've also got stuff Tim Walz changing the flag, the Minnesota flag. It looks like the Somalian flag now for inclusion, and this guy is very far left. So I'm trying to understand this strategy here because these people are not stupid. They understand that they're going for a certain voter. Are they going for the low propensity, far left, or at least, decently far left, younger liberal voter? Is that who they're trying to turn out here? Because Kamala Harris was the most liberal governor in 2019, rated as much. They're trying to kind of change her into being this more moderate. It's really not working. She's, pretty far left, especially when it comes to somebody running in a national election. And then you have Tim Walz, who's also very far left. It surprises me that they double down on something like that. But again, they've got internal metrics. It's not like they're trying to lose. Is this a situation where maybe Kamala Harris got bullied by people further to the left to not pick Shapiro because of the Israel ties and go with someone like Tim Walz, who, again, I think the craziest thing is changing his own flag. And you can see, there's a video of it. I'll go to it. I want to read through all of this. This is like my, spiel, and then I'll get to it. But you can see him change out the flag, and it looks like the Somalia flag. I'm not kidding. And he said it because it's equity and inclusion. That's why he did it. He literally changed the state flag. Welcome to the race, Tim Walz. Let's make sure America knows who you are. Obviously, this is what was going to happen. I mean, Republicans were already attacking Josh Shapiro very heavily when it looked like he was going to be the candidate, so we knew that this was going to happen. You helped ignite the George Floyd riots. So did Kamala Harris, by the way. So they share that. The worst the country has ever seen in decades. They're actually, in terms of the cost of them, the insurance money, they're the worst ever. It's about $2.5 billion total. The George Floyd riots were horrible. While Minneapolis burned, you stalled on deploying the National Guard for an entire day. And yeah, that's another narrative that people forget. They said it would be racist to do that, and you should just let them burn American cities to the ground. That's liberals, especially when it comes to a race topic. They can't see straight. It's crazy. But you can see there's just a bunch of stuff here. They're going at Walz. Picking Walz is a massive gift to the Republicans. He's a radical leftist from a non-swing state with a long history of insane statements who presided over the burning down of his state in 2020. Yeah, that's well put. It's not really a swing state. You kind of dodged the bullet with Shapiro possibly being annoying in Pennsylvania, maybe resetting that state, giving Harris. Because we know if she would have picked Shapiro, the narrative would be, oh, she's the favorite now in Pennsylvania. Not that the narrative really matters, but I do think you would see an ignited base in Pennsylvania where she'd start going up in some polls by 5 or 6 points, and then Trump would have to make that up, and it would be kind of annoying. Again, the polls really don't matter. It's just what happens on election night. I get it, but still, as we go into it, I think this is a better choice for Republicans. Minnesota, you can lose Minnesota, that's fine. We will give up Minnesota to take Pennsylvania. That's a beautiful trade. But again, there's a reason that they picked her, And it's some strategy. Maybe they're looking for low propensity voters that, I don't know, support Hamas. I mean, I'm just grasping at straws, really, when it comes to this pick. There's really not a ton of those people. That's a very small, minute part of the Liberal Party. Or maybe I'm underestimating it. Maybe their party is shifting so far to the left to where you need to placate to these people so much, and they're trying to make Kamala Harris be kind of the moderate candidate, which again is hilarious considering she legitimately graded out as the most liberal governor in 2019. Harris Walz, most left-wing ticket in American history. Well, I'm sure that is true, and it just speaks to where we're going and where the Democratic Party is going further and further and further to the left. Now, obviously, Democrats will say, well, the right wing is controlled by the far right and things like that, but this is serious. I mean, when you look at Walz and you look at Harris and what they've done, Minnesota was ground zero for the BLM riots. Harris egged it on, and Walz sat and let Minnesota burn. There's that. A New York poll, kind of randomly again, we get another one of these. Harris plus 14. So Biden was sitting plus 9, plus 10. Really doesn't surprise me that Harris has gone up by more. Harris, Trump, RFK, Stein. You've got Harris up by 12. I just wanted to share that. And then you do have Minnesota officially has a new and inclusive flag. And this is Walz right here. You can see their original flag. It looks like just your typical state flag. Looks fine. It's got a seal on it. You know, the colors are, you know, it fits. It's not a big deal. And I mean, this dude literally goes behind it, changes it out, and it looks like he's part of a freaking faction within the Middle East when he brings this flag out. I mean, look at this thing. It's a Somalian flag. And so that's supposed to be inclusion. You want to talk about the biggest downgrade and the idea that you're going to, you know, on video replace this flag, and people are like, what are you doing? This is disgusting. So that's equity and inclusion. So that's how liberal this dude is. He has to replace the state flag with something absurdly ugly because it's equity and inclusion, and then let Minneapolis burn to the ground. And here he is, signing a law that provides driver's license for illegal aliens. Yeah, I saw this video a while ago. You've got massive applause. Oh, yay. Yeah. So see the illegal, component of this. He's very far left. He wants all the illegals in the country. Oh, wow. I can't believe they've got rare photos of Austria in 1945 after an Allied carpet bombing run. Oh, wait, that's Minneapolis in 2020. I'm sorry. I must have gotten it confused. This isn't Iraq. This is Minneapolis under Tim Walz as governor. And, I mean, they burned the city to the ground. But no, guys. January 6th was so bad. It was so horrible. I'm sorry. No. This didn't happen. No. January 6th was worse than this. You're right. Tim Walz. This was... So this is Tim Walz. Oh, no, this wasn't the clip. This is him saying he wants a ladder factory to help illegals climb the wall and get into the country. They all support the illegal immigration. I think this is a very important pick for the Dems because they know if they want to remain in power, they need all this illegal immigration. Remember, you've got horrible state leadership in Illinois, horrible state leadership in California, and also New York. So all of those major states are because they're so bad at their jobs. Even Democrats are fleeing those states. They're losing electoral votes. You've got Texas gaining electoral votes, Florida, even states like Tennessee, South Dakota, Idaho getting more population. Oregon's losing electoral votes. So they need to supplement and replace the natural born population that doesn't want to be under liberal leadership. That's why everyone's fleeing California and they're losing electoral votes. And now Newsom is forced to try and clean it up because Democrats told him, you're so bad at your job. So many people are leaving. You're actually losing electoral votes for us. You need to try and clean it up. And so that's why you see videos of all, in California, them trying to rip out the tents from the homeless people to take away all the homeless, camps there. But it's just like when it comes to Walz, they all buy into the illegal immigration. It's huge for their party. It's a key principle. You need the illegals to come in and supplement the natural born citizen voters that you're losing. It's very important. They keep losing more and more normal Americans. They have to replace that vote with the illegals. So this is actually you can understand their strategy at least a little bit with this. And then apparently Walz was the one who came up with the weird tagline, which again, I'm not sure I understand, but apparently originally he claimed that it was his talking point And then Anderson Cooper told him that the New York Times thought it was stupid that it was stupid, and then he was saying it wasn't his idea. I don't even know what this is. I mean, it's such a dumb. It just doesn't make any sense. Like it's the most childish thing ever. You're calling me weird. Oh my God, what will I ever do? Like I'm for them to call Trump weird, that's a significant upgrade from what they were calling Trump. And I think maybe that a lot of that has to do with them continuously calling Trump racist, and at a certain point we just become, it's like, how many times, it's like the boy who cried wolf, how many times are you going to use that? But then it's like when you shift to something that's really not nearly as bad, from being racist to being weird, it's like, I don't understand what but apparently he was like the founder of, oh my God, Donald Trump is so weird, JD Vance is so weird, he had sex with a couch. Even though that was a fake thing the Democrats made up, someone just said, oh, he admits he had sex with a couch, go to page 69 to 71, and then you go to that page in his book and it's not there. I don't think JD Vance ever had sex with a couch. That was a lie that they made up just randomly. And so that's where the whole weird thing comes from. And so when it comes to this pick, I think this is good news in terms of if it was this or Shapiro, we'll see. It's a VP spot, it's whatever. But this is kind of like the irrelevant Tim Kaine, the typical VP that never actually gets in, like the loser that's irrelevant. Tim Walz is never going to be the actual VP of the United States because Harris is going to lose and he's just going to be irrelevant, very similar to Tim Kaine. That would be my prediction on this, rather than someone like Josh Shapiro, who is younger, who, has a very good approval rating, is in an important swing state. This, I think, is definitely, and listen, basically every Republican is saying this as well. This is a good thing that Tim Walz is the pick when it comes to the dynamic of this election, and the fact that he is very far left. It's not like he's this moderate to try and balance the ticket with Harris. That's not what they did. And Trump didn't do that either. I mean, Trump could have tried to balance the ticket better with someone like Tulsi Gabbard, who I think he, could have easily won with. I think he can still easily win with JD Vance, and I like JD Vance, but these VP picks, they don't mean a ton, but I do think generally we should be pretty happy that it is Walz over Shapiro. Pennsylvania clearly still in play. I would say Trump, looking great in Pennsylvania. And when it comes to the VP bump, I think it's basically non-existent, especially when it comes to someone like this who's very irrelevant, who's not in the national, scope. She already got her fake bump when they did all of the money deployed for her right when it was announced she was going to be the nominee after Biden dropped out. She got her fake artificial bump. Then we had the stock market crash yesterday, and I don't think this is really going to do anything when it comes to changing the polls in any meaningful way. Will he guarantee that she wins Minnesota? I don't even know about that. I mean, she was already looking very good in Minnesota anyways. Minnesota is not one of the more important swing states. That's a state that Trump obviously can easily lose and still win the election fairly comfortably. It's just when you get into the Rust Belt, those are the very important states. So that's why we're happy she did not pick Shapiro. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.